Virtual reality, the future of gaming or a passing fad? I believe virtual reality is here to stay. My name is Marty Sliva versus John Ryan. John Ryan, you think virtual reality is a fad and going to go the way of the dodo?
I mean, total extinction? Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to burn every VR headset in a pile, but I definitely don't see it becoming as mainstream as some folks think it might. I think it's never going to be anything more than a peripheral.
So before 2016, I would have agreed with you. Virtual reality, what we experienced growing up with Lawnmower Man and things inside the arcade and the Virtual Boy, these were failed experiments.
Oh, for sure.
These were super cute.
Power Glove.
Yeah, totally. None of these actually had a lasting impact on the industry.
Right.
But from what I've seen this year, and from what we've seen with Oculus, with the Vive, and with the PlayStation VR, I honestly do think that this is the next paradigm, and that going forward 5, 10, 15 years from now, this thing is going to be here to stay in everyone's household.
Here to stay maybe, but I cannot agree with in everybody's household. Okay. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's what I have experienced in VR, I thought has mostly been really cool, but it's nothing that I would not want to play for more than, maybe 20 minutes or a half hour at a time, and B, I certainly don't want to go spending another $400, $500, $600, $800
at the very least. Yeah, the
headset.
The pricing is something I'm a bit worried about, especially with Oculus and Vive. You need those hefty gaming rigs, as well as the cost of entry. But I think the big factor is, come October when PSVR comes out, and when by then we'll have a 50 million install base in the PS4, and people for $400 can pick this up for Christmas for their kids, and you're gonna have this slew of sort of gaming experiences with Batman VR and Final Fantasy and first-party Sony stuff, and I really do think that this is going to sort of be the tip of the iceberg for people.
Yeah, but when you look at it, maybe, sure, 10 years down the line, we'll have full 20, 30, 40-hour games available for people in VR if they're into that, if they can even stomach it. Because half the people I talked to at E3 were I was like, hey, how'd you like VR? And they're like, oh man, it was really cool, right up until I got severe motion sickness and almost vomited.
Yeah, that is a huge problem. I completely agree with that. But the evolution we've seen over the last 3 years, to me, I'm all right, I've seen that leap. We're not there yet, but I've seen that progress, and I really do feel like it's just going to get better and better every year.
I think I can see where you're coming from. I feel like it kind of goes back to that whole, will you want to spend more than 20 minutes or a half hour doing this at a time? Do you want to sit in your room carefully navigating, trying not to smash your coffee table for 22 hours, for 30 hours? And how do, mainstream, let's say a third-person action game, for example, because VR, we've seen it works best when it's a first-person game.
Yeah.
But what about games like Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs,
Uncharted,
the Spider-Man game, for example, Uncharted, stuff like that?
See, I don't think we have the answer to that yet, but I really do feel the way that this is going to unfold is that this is this weird, new paradigm. This is the deep blue sea. People haven't figured out the rules of gaming yet. No one understood 3D gaming until Mario 64 came out, and all of a sudden it set all these rules where it's no, this is the core of a 3D character game. Everyone look at Mario 64 and build your games off that. I don't think we've seen that yet in VR, but I think we're going to see it eventually, whether it's from Sony, whether it's from, if Microsoft gets in the game, whether it is Nintendo in a little ways. Maybe Nintendo will be the one. Nintendo made it regular for people to be waving their hands in their house.
And that's the other thing too, is they did make me a believer in the Wii technology, not so much the gamepad, but the Wii technology itself. It's you know what, okay.
But I feel one of the big points is going to be VR is bigger than just games. The fact that Facebook has invested so heavily into Oculus proves that. I think VR is going to evolve the way we communicate with people. It's going to evolve e-tourism, which is a thing I hate that I just said.
But you know what? I totally am all about it.
The idea of, hey, I woke up this morning in my crappy apartment in San Francisco, let me put on this headset and now I'm drinking my coffee and I'm seeing a live feed of a 360 camera in Paris.
Right. I think that's really cool. I just don't think, I feel practical everyday use, being able to go to my Nana's 90 millionth birthday party.
Oh, Nana Ryan!
Nana Ryan! But no, that, I think that's a great idea. I think on a practical, everyday level, whether it's just for Skype or, Facebook or e-tourism, I think those are phenomenal ideas. I don't really see that being a viable option for mainstream games, especially your everyday 9 to 5, blue collar person who's I spend $60 every 3 months on one video game.
Yeah, I view it as sort of a high tide raises all ships, and that when it starts working in one sector, it's going to work in the other sectors. So what do you think? VR, here to stay, future gaming, or passing fad? Let us know in the comments below, and for everything else VR and gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.